Happy Self-Love Sunday. I hope you're having a great day, and if you're not, I hope that your day gets better because there's still time. Um, we're back for another episode of Self-Love Sunday, and I'm so glad to be with you guys, and um, it's much needed for me today. I worked, I've been I got to work around 6:30 and barely got off, and I was running around the entire day, and I'm just so grateful that I was able to come home when the sun was still out and I was able to kind of like do some sunbathing. I think it's really important to find things that energize you. I know for me, when I'm having like a really stressful day, or I'm not feeling that great, um, and I feel like I need to be re-energized. I love to be like out in the sun. So usually if I'm like really stressed out or need like to breathe, um, I'll come and lay out, and I get really energized by the sun. So I'm really curious as to what re-energizes all of you guys. So feel free to drop what is helpful for you in the comments, because it could help somebody else. I also find that when I've had a stressful day that I meditate, because for me, everything starts here, but it starts with my mind. And usually if I'm having a stressful day, my thoughts aren't like the most positive, and so I kind of just need to like recenter myself. Like, I decided to come home. I came out into the sun because it's really nice and very helpful for me. I made a cup of coffee, even though I had like tons of coffee today, but it calms me. And I came out, put some music on, just felt the sun, shine down on me, and meditated. And in my meditation, I just really, tried to focus and point out all the positive things that happened today. Um, I also took some time to like really address how I'm feeling, because even though it's really important to be positive, I found that it's very important to hold space for yourself. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, holding space for ourselves when we need it most. I know in the past, um, if I was having like a bad time or a hard time, I kind of had this attitude towards myself, like suck it up, like you have like nobody cares kind of mentality. And now for me, it's important to honor my feelings, so sitting with myself and really asking myself, like, what are you feeling? And today I was able to say, like, I felt stressed out. I felt like I wasn't doing things good enough at work. Then I realized that I was future tripping, like thinking about, oh, like my work day tomorrow, and when I have to be on call, I'm not going to be able to like do it. All these negative things, and I had to really like address them and say, no, like, no, Natasha, I hear what you're saying, but that's not true. Like, you are capable, you're good enough, and I had to like kind of sit in it, and I had to like repeat the things over and over again until I kind of believed them and I felt different. Um, so I find that very helpful, and also I had an event that occurred yesterday with a member of my family that like kind of stressed me out, and I was able to really tap into what I was feeling, and I was feeling angry, scared, sad. It brought up a lot of stuff from my past and my upbringing, um, and so for me today, I called a close friend who answered my phone call, and I was able to talk to her and run it by her. Um, And that's a really great thing to do. Like I had said before, like, you don't need to do life on your own. Open up to people, let people love you and be there for you. And it's really scary to do so. But when you do, you form connections and you don't feel so alone. That's what I've experienced. So I did that and it was really helpful. She gave me a lot of great advice. Um, but for me, even with sharing with a friend, they're not going to always understand where you're coming from. People can have empathy and sympathize with what you're going through, but nobody really knows how you feel. And you're going to have people in your life that will tell you, like, which my friend didn't, but there are going to be people in your life that say that's not that big of a deal, or get over it, or give you all this advice. But what I'm coming to discover is I stopped talking to myself and I stopped being there for myself. And I feel like a lot of people may be able to identify with that. I always needed outside validation, and I needed other people to tell me that I was okay in order to be okay. And now I'm learning that I need to be that for myself, you know? So it was important for me to hold space for myself last night and be, like, lay in bed and feel my feelings, do some writing about, journaling about how I'm feeling, and then not just venting to myself, but also being there for myself and, being the person that I always wanted or needed in my life. And I think it's really important that we do that, So I just encourage you, if you're going through a hard time, or you're having a bad day, or you're having a good day, like, hold space for yourself. We always have this idea of how we want our significant other to be, how we want our mom to be, our sisters to be, our best friend. And a lot of times we can see, or we tend to notice what people aren't doing for us. And the thing is that people are not perfect, and they're going to let you down all the time, and they're not going to always be there to pick up your phone or talk to you. And that's okay. People are people. People make mistakes, I'm not going to always be there for people who may need me or want me to be. So in saying that, we need to be that person for ourselves. If you had absent parents, or you had somebody, you didn't have anybody in your life who, like, motivated you, or told you, like, you can do it, be that for yourself. Everything that you wanted in relationships around you, be that for yourself. And that's what I'm learning. Other people are not going to always be there for me, and a lot of times they're going to disappoint me. But if I'm always there for myself, that's all that it'll come to a point where I realize that I'm all I need. Like, it's great to have friends and to be in a relationship and to have a significant other and have family. But when you start holding space for yourself and you start being the person that you need, if you start being your own boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, what I mean like that is, we all want somebody to, like, tell us how beautiful we are, or that, no matter what, I'll always be with you, I'll never leave you. We can be that for ourselves. We can talk to ourselves like that, If you need somebody in your life that is motivating you and telling you you're amazing and you can do it, be that for yourself. If you need somebody to tell you it's okay when you're sad and crying, be that for yourself, Because when we rely on outside people, places, and things, we're going to be disappointed, and we're going to begin to need their validation to get through life. And I always say, or what I've been coming to say and realize is that if I want a best friend, I gotta first be a best friend to attract that best friend. If I want a amazing significant other, I need to be that to myself before I can attract that. Like attracts like. And I have a friend who said, sick attracts sick. So where I'm at in life, I'm going to attract that. So, I think it's important to realize that, like, you're not always going to feel super happy and in a good mood, and everything's not going to feel perfect or appear perfect. And sometimes you're going to have bad days and or not super exciting days, and sometimes things are going to happen with family members and friends. But this is what like self-love is about. It's loving ourselves through this. By doing this, we're telling ourselves that, like, no matter what state you're in, I'm not leaving you. I'm always going to be here. I'm always going to love you, whether you're in a bad mood, shitty mood, whether you're happy, whether you're excited, whether you're inspired. And that's what it's really all about. Loving ourselves no matter what's going on. And, looking at today, it's all about perception. I could just spend time thinking about everything that didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to go, and why, people in my life are disappointing me, and, all this junk. Or I can focus on, okay, well, this has given me an opportunity to be there for myself, then I can make a list of all the great things that happened to me, like even the smallest things, like I got up on time, I made it to work, I had a working car, coffee, I have drinking water, I have toothpaste, I have soap to wash my body. I have coworkers who are supportive and who are really helpful. So there's so much good around us. Some days it's harder to see that, but the more that you practice looking at the positive things around you, the way you're thinking is going to change. And I've personally discovered that for myself. So, no matter what's going on in your life, I encourage you to take time to provide space for yourself and accept yourself in whatever state you are. Also do some journaling and meditating. Use your tools. Use the tools that can help you get through rocky times, instead of like picking up the drink or the negative self-talk or, binge eating, all things that like I used to partake in to like take the edge off. You can start, building your toolkit of small tools that can help you when you're having a rough day. So I'm sending you guys all lots of love. Like I said, I hope you're all having a good day, and I just encourage you to use some of the tools that I shared with today. It's I'm so glad that I came outside and did